We are here with Sarah Kurpel, Athletic Director at Penn State Brandywine, and this topic is a really interesting one, especially for interns. It's initiative. When are we going to step in, jump up and say, hey, I want to do this, or hey, I'm going to run with this, trust me, build that loyalty, and say that you can, solve a problem, or you can take the reins of a project. So Sarah, someone who has been close to Newman, has managed students, interns, undergrad and graduate, she's going to talk about initiative.
Absolutely. So I think initiative can be tricky because we want to help people solve their problems, but without I think a word that you used when we spoke was being imposing,
right.
And coming across like a know-it-all. Because as managers, we see interns frequently, and sometimes the demeanor that an intern brings to us is frustrating because we as the manager really are the experts, and it would be a really great way to start your internship to tipping your hat to that. We are hiring interns because we're looking for fresh, innovative ways for our staff to help us manage what we're doing. But remember, this is our day-to-day. This is our real life. You're coming and going. So just keep that in mind. So taking initiative, we want to find that great balance of being bold enough to identify a problem and bring that to our managers, our staff, but then seeming like you're wrong if they don't agree with you, bringing that initiative to them. So always, and just like everything you do in life, everything has to have balance.
Right. Yeah, so another thing we mentioned was being creative with your initiative. How do you find that? How do you develop that creativity to take that initiative?
There's a lot of different ways to do that, and I think everybody needs to know their strengths in those areas. For example, I really love taking small, like calculated risks that I think would be successful. And another thing where I like to take initiative is to kind of go for the layup. I joke with my staff all the time that this is Moneyball, guys. Like, we don't want to leave any points on the table. We want to score those easy points that we know we can score. So how can we do that? If there is if there's an opportunity for you to take initiative, whether it is this is an example that I like to use. If anybody is comfortable with using the Microsoft suite, not everybody is. We all use it all the time. Is learning about the tools that you're using every day on a daily basis and learning how to use them better. It's going to bring a deeper level of understanding to what you're doing. And you have to think about, like, high-level managers really might not know how to do something as easy as a mail merge. Many of you might not know what I'm talking about, but a mail merge is just a quick way to streamline an office for communicating and sending out mass emails in a way that is just so easy. Using that Microsoft Office suite is a great metaphor for taking initiative. Think about the tools and resources that you have. You're going deeper into your actions rather than wider. We don't need a new app to help us communicate.
Right.
We don't need all of these new and innovative ways to share information. See what tools you have. It doesn't matter what experience you had before, and if they had a good app, what do we have here that we can take initiative to help people learn how to use better?
Well said. So I think you mentioned a few things there. One is you don't need the new app. You don't need to reinvent the wheel. You use the resources you have. But at the same time, maybe they have a past experience that might help. Blending on the word initiative is to be assertive. How do you put yourself in there, find that, this goes back to the problem solving, but find that problem to solve. And in another way, how do you do that if the problem may be budget or resources?
Great question. And this is an example comes to mind. I work in a staff that a department that I'm really trying to build. We're trying to really bring that, the way that we say it is, we're trying to give that Penn State University Park campus feel at the Delaware County level. And a way that we do that is we identify opportunities for us to improve, but again, we have to Brandywine-ize it. So, for example, we identified that our film quality was pretty poor for our live streaming. We're lucky enough to be able to use and utilize great equipment to live stream over YouTube, which many institutions don't do. Yeah. But there's some drawbacks there. When you're live streaming over YouTube, you really need to have a strong connection. And also, we opted to, because of the copyright restrictions in YouTube, we don't do it with sound. So there's some drawbacks there because sometimes we play music during games. YouTube does not allow copyright infringement. So we're identifying all these little problems, like how do we use the tools we have and continue to elevate? So one of the problems was we don't use sound. How do we tell people that what the score of the game is if we don't have a scoreboard and we don't have sound? We invested in Scorebug. It's just like a little thing at the bottom of the screen. It's a $70 a year investment to solve a major problem.
Yeah.
We get a lot of grief over social media for that. No more grief. Small problem solved. And it was just taking initiative to, I think, and we talk about this with problem solving, to identify what the problem is and then using what's in our sphere of influence. I can go one step further. We don't have unlimited budget at Penn State Brandywine, but we do have creativity. So another problem with the video is that we're at field level. We don't have a press box. We're on a grass field. So do I want to invest $25,000 to get a press box for my scorekeeper when the long-term goal is to invest in the field? I feel like that's $25 sunk.
Yeah.
So instead, I think about my experience. I used to be a head coach. Where did I see a platform in the sky? And now there's this $800 to $1,000 solution of this like tripod that goes up 10 feet in the air that all of a sudden it costs, a fifth of what I would have paid for if we put in a press box.
Right.
We want to get to the long-term goal, but then also I'm now able to cost share with other departments. We're not the only people that need to do this. So I'm telling you a long convoluted story to just identify several problems that we've had throughout the department and being innovative to save money and solve problems, but do it in a way that helps support our long-term goals.
Right, and a lot of that stuff comes from research. So you have to take the initiative to dive in. What are the cost-effective ways? What are the most cutting-edge ways? And if you don't take that initiative, you really can't get there. So when you talk about reverse engineering, that's exactly that. I think that's some really good advice on taking an initiative and some really great stories that are true, that are recent too, that these students as an intern could take and be like, I could do something like that. I could find that need. I could find that problem to solve, all by taking initiative. So thank you, Sarah, and hopefully you guys are taking something out of this that you can take into your internship to then find those problems to solve by taking the initiative. Thank you.